So now that we've covered sailing directions, let's come back home to the U.S. and take a look at our last publication that we want to read through, which is the U.S. Coast Pilots. And U.S. Coast Pilots are maintained by NOAA or the National Ocean Service, and those services publish 9 different U.S. Coast Pilots, and they're to supplement charts that cover U.S. waters. These are updated on regular schedule. They are printed annually, except for Coast Pilot 8 and Coast Pilot 9, which cover Alaskan waters. And those are just updated a little less frequently, every 2 years instead of every year. And again, as I mentioned, they're designed to supplement the charts. So information that may not fit on a chart or is not appropriate to be included on the chart specifically can be found in Coast Pilots. So we've had our map that we used for determining which of the sailing directions is appropriate to pull up depending on where we are in the world. Here is a similar map showing you which coast pilot you're going to open up depending on where you're navigating. And of course, they cover the coasts. As I mentioned, you can see Book 8 and Book 9 up there. Those are the ones that cover Alaskan waters and are updated less frequently. The other ones are split up by the coasts. Book 6, you can see, covers the Great Lakes, and Book 7 covers a significant amount of coastline, as it covers the entire West Coast as well as the Hawaiian Islands. So let's go ahead and dive into one of the coast pilots. We're due for a port call in Key West, and we want to know which VHF channel do we need to tune in on bridge to bridge to make security calls when entering the harbor. So first we want to determine which coast pilot are we navigating in this case. So we'll take a look back at this map, and Key West is kind of right on the edge between Book 4 and Book 5. You can see that the border right there is close to Key West, but Key West is actually included in Book 4. The way I'm going to show you in this video for navigating Coast Pilot is just by using the NOAA website. It's going to look a little bit different than when you're accessing Coast Pilot using your quarterly CD, but the information is the same. I'm just going to access it a slightly different way. So let's come up to the NOAA website. Here I am on the Coast Pilot portion of the website, and that you can see is just listed under one of the publications that they maintain. And I've got a similar graphic, a similar map. This one is more interactive if I want to know which one I'm going to use. So I can see Key West is down here. I can see Coast Pilot 4 lights up. So I'll click on that. This menu will open up, and what I want to do is just read about Key West specifically. So it's mentioned a couple of times, but in the sections here, you can see it's listed here. This chapter 3 is pretty general, so I want a little bit more specific information on Key West. So I'm going to come down here to chapter 11, and I can click on that, and it'll open up this section. This is the section of Coast Pilot. And again, just the way this looks is going to look a little bit different than how you'll see it on your quarterly CD, but the information is the same. So to answer the question from our lecture, I'm specifically looking for information about security calls. So let's go ahead and type in security calls, and this section pops up right here. And I can see right here under there it says all vessels 65 feet or greater and all tugs with tows on entering or leaving Key West Harbor or the Key West main ship channel shall give security calls on VHF FM channels 16 and 13. So those are the channels that I need to go ahead and be making those security calls on if I'm entering or leaving Key West. That answers my question. So again, this information is pretty similar to what we might see if we're just looking through what Coast Pilot looks like. It's the same kind of information that we're going to find in sailing directions. Information on pilotage, weather, prevailing currents, dangers, and so on and so forth. And then another cool thing you may have noticed at the top of this is that we have a graphic showing us all the charts that apply. If I click on this and sort of open it up, I can see all the chart numbers for this area. So if again I am looking at Key West, I can see which charts might be applicable to my specific transit in and out of Key West. So that's another great feature of Coast Pilot. So of course we would be consulting Coast Pilot anytime we're transiting to a port in the US that we've never been to before, but always a good practice to just review what it says about your home port as you're reporting to your ship, if you haven't already taken a look at that, just to make sure that you know all of the requirements and what other things maybe commercial vessels might be doing in the port, because even if you don't necessarily have to follow those commercial regulations as a US Navy ship, it's good to know what else is going on around you and what the meaning of things are that are going on around you as well. So don't just think about this as a publication that you want to crack open if you're going somewhere you've never been, but always good to refresh, especially since these are being updated over time. So that wraps up our information regarding the publications that we kind of want to read through before we start looking at our charts or at VMS. The next video is going to cover how we approach opening up those charts and correcting those charts to make sure they're the most up to date as we prepare to conduct a transit or a restricted waters detail.